Right now, a teen injured after a large fight downtown. The latest from Madison police on what happened and where the investigation stands. And it's a big day for the Brewers, the Chicago Cubs, and their fans. We take you to the tailgates at AmFam Field, and Andrew has highlights of Game 1 of the National League Division Series in sports. And we're about to enter Week 2 of the government shutdown, the latest finger-pointing between Republicans and Democrats. Welcome to News 3 Now. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Armand Rahman. Jalen has the night off, and a very happy birthday to him. Well, a teenager is recovering after being shot during what police call a large fight in downtown Madison. Officers responded to a call of someone bleeding on the 200 block of Langdon Street late Friday night. They say multiple suspects ran from the scene. The 18-year-old victim was taken to a local hospital where they were treated and released. Meanwhile, an 18-year-old suspect was taken into custody with the assistance of the UWPD. The investigation is ongoing. And Madison police are also investigating after a resident was awoken by gunshots last night on Madison's east side. Just before midnight in the 3300 block of Lexington Avenue, Madison patrol vehicles blocked off roads in every direction. Police say the resident discovered a bullet hit his house. Nobody inside the home was injured and no arrests have been made so far. The investigation is ongoing. If you have any information, Madison police ask you to contact them or Madison area Crime Stoppers at the number listed there at the bottom of your screen. Well, if you were headed to a baseball game today like some Brewers fans, you may have had to pack sunscreen and shorts in October, Blaze. When is this heat going to end and fall come in?
You know, we are going to cool down as we head into next week, and it's not going to be cool in the sense of we're going to be below average, but we're going to be cooler than where we are today and where we have been yesterday and where we will be tomorrow in the 80s. We're going to be more seasonable. We're taking a live look on our Upland Hills sky cam in Dodgeville, where it's 83 degrees, a light southerly wind keeping us warm at this hour. 83 to our north in Lone Rock, 83 in Madison, pair of 82s there. Monroe and Janesville, 79 in Viroqua. 82, Sauk City, Cross Plains, Mount Horeb, as well as in Perry. Another day where we sat in some very warm air compared to where we should be for this time of year. But that all goes away with our next rain chance. The cold front is going to bring us back down to more normal temperatures. We're going to track out that rain beginning Sunday night and take a look at those temperatures, how cool we will get in the full forecast. All right, Blaze, thank you.
Well, after a week off, the best team in baseball got their postseason started today. Sports Director Andrew Banstra was with the Brewers at AmFam Field and has the highlights right now. Andrew, how'd they do?
Armand, talk about coming out with a bang. The big question about the Brewers, at least come outside of this building, heading into this big-time Game 1 in the NLDS, was sure they were the best team in baseball in the regular season, but could they prove it in the postseason? The answer was a resounding you betcha. They were firing on all cylinders against the Cubs. The crew batted around in the first inning, already leading 4-1, and the leadoff man, Jackson Churio, gets on base for the second time in the frame. Make it 6-1 Brewers early, and from there it was already out of hand as Milwaukee takes the all-important series opener 9-3, the final score. And coming up in main sports, we'll give you a much more detailed version of what happened today. Plus, you'll hear from Pat Murphy and the players, and of course, we'll talk about what happened in Ann Arbor with Wisconsin football. For now, reporting from AmFam Field, Armand, I'm Andrew Banstra for News 3 Sports.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much. We'll check back with you in just a bit. And meanwhile, outside the stadium, fans got ready to cheer on their favorite team at the American Family Field parking lot. Our Tanisha Shaw talked to fans to see how they're keeping AmFam tailgating traditions alive.
Go Brewers! Go Cubs, go!
Even though the Brewers and the Cubs are known for their rivalry, one thing that both of them can agree on is a great
This is just it's a family affair, but it's also for adults as well. So it's like you can just bring anybody, even Cubs fans.
Cubs fans did end up tailgating with Brewers fans here in Milwaukee hours before first pitch Saturday, with all the essentials that you need for tailgating, like smack talk.
If they close the roof and it starts leaking like it did last time, hey, we got this.
And the Cubs fans will be sad, but we'll console them on the way home.
Food, beer.
Wisconsin people know how to do it well. have a few beers with friends, have something to eat, head into the game and cheer for our team.
And the kindness that you can only get here in the Midwest.
Of course, we're going to root against the Cubs, but at the end of the day, they're people. We go down to their games too. We want to be treated well. We'll treat them well. You know, we're all cheering for our team. So yeah, all day long.
You're on Milwaukee's home turf right now.
Yeah,
How are you feeling?
We don't worry about them.
Angels in the outfield!
That was our Tenacious Shaw reporting. The Midwest Nice even carries over to the tailgate. Well, it may not feel like it, but fall is here and you can't start the season off without a fresh pumpkin. Oak Bank hosted their annual Great Pumpkin Giveaway in Fitchburg today. Families could grab goodie bags, enjoy tractor-drawn carriage rides, and of course, pick from the very wide variety of pumpkins.
We don't want to call them ugly pumpkins. We like to call them specialty pumpkins, but those are the ones I like.
You know what? I'm all about community, and it makes me feel real good that so many people can be on such a positive, in a positive, happy space.
All cash donations collected during the event will be donated to a local charity. And today, Madison Vegan Fest returned to the city for another year of celebrating sustainable and plant-based foods. Stalls filled up Lunny Lake Farm Park from 11 to 5. With a range of vendors from local Madison eateries to ones from Milwaukee and even Chicago, attendees were able to taste a range of vegan foods. Speakers were also present to discuss the vegan diet alongside other ways of living more sustainably. And when visitors had their fill, there were other exhibitors on hand offering things from gifts to health coaching. One of the organizers, Kristen Wells, says the fest welcomes everyone and hopes to see even non-vegans enjoy it.
We're really excited to invite anyone who's interested about veganism, who maybe isn't vegan and doesn't plan to be, but wants to just experience something different. Again, all of the food here, whether you're vegan or not, I think everyone will find something they like.
Vegan Fest will return next year with another lineup of vegan vendors and exhibitors. And this weekend, Madison Contemporary Dance and the Hitters Collective are putting on their annual Creative Movement dance concerts, highlighting the abilities of dancers from across the country. Event organizers hope the performances will let the audience witness the power of connection through dance. This weekend's concerts feature dances ages 7 and up. Each performance unites studio-trained dancers like ballet and modern with street-style dancers like hip-hop and krump to create innovative new works. CEO of Hitters Collective, Papa Kobina Brew, is an artistic director for the concerts. He says they bridge more than just different dance styles.
All this came to be with just the idea of just bridging cultures, bridging communities, and offering an opportunity for individuals in the community to be able to express themselves through dance and movement, and then being able to pass it down to the youth as well.
And you still have a couple of chances to catch the concerts. There are 2 performances tomorrow at the Madison Youth Arts Center. If you're interested, tickets are about $18 online at MadisonContemporaryDance.com. Well, still ahead tonight on News 3 Now, as the shutdown continues, government workers still working without pay and firings from President Trump loom as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle keep squabbling over how to fund the government. Plus, could an end to the war between Israel and Hamas be near? How close both sides are to a peace deal brokered by President Trump.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. The federal government shutdown is now entering its second week with no immediate end in sight, and with the White House threatening to fire thousands of federal workers in what it says is an effort to save costs. CBS News' Willie James Inman is in Washington with details.
As the federal government prepares to enter a second week of a shutdown, the finger pointing between Republicans and Democrats continues.
We're in the midst of a government shutdown that has been caused by Donald Trump and Republicans to inflict further pain on the American people. The government is shut down right now because Donald Trump and Republicans refuse to provide health care to working class Americans.
The motion upon reconsideration is not agreed to.
On Friday, the Senate voted and once again failed to move forward with a short-term spending bill to fund the government until mid-November, extending the shutdown. Democrats want more health care funding, including an extension of affordable health care tax credits.
My caucus and Democrats are adamant that we must protect the health care of the American people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson canceled plans for the chamber to return to Washington next week, a move that effectively puts pressure on the Senate to act.
So the House will come back into session and do its work as soon as Chuck Schumer allows us to reopen the government. That's plain and simple.
Meanwhile, the White House is threatening to lay off thousands of federal employees, adding that the move will cut costs.
Nobody wants to do that, but sometimes in government you have to make tough decisions.
The ongoing government shutdown means a number of federal workers, including TSA agents at airports, will have to continue work without pay. The shutdown is also expected to continue to impact a number of museums and national parks. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Well, this is the first shutdown of the federal government since 2019. The last one lasted 35 days. And a growing number of lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they will forego their paychecks amid the government shutdown. Some lawmakers say they'll donate their salaries until the shutdown is over. Others have formally requested that their pay be withheld. Most rank and file members of Congress earn $174,000 annually. However, those in top leadership, they get paid a lot more. New 100% tariffs on many prescription drugs are in effect, but analysts say consumers have a few things working in their favor. The import taxes won't apply to generic drugs, which account for more than 90% of medications in the U.S. Deals with the European Union and Japan, both major sources of pharmaceuticals, cap tariffs on most drugs at 15%, and any company that has broken ground or is in construction on a U.S. manufacturing facility is exempt. And we are a step closer to an end to the war between Israel and Hamas after both sides agreed to parts of a deal brokered by President Trump. Smoke could be seen rising from Gaza this morning, but there is newfound hope on both sides. Hamas said it agreed to release the hostages it took on October 7th, nearly 2 years ago, as part of an overall deal to end the war, but wants to negotiate some parts of the deal. Late Friday, Israel said it was ready to implement the first phase of President Trump's plan.
I think it's a really good sign of the whole situation. The deal that Trump and even Netanyahu, they are preparing for Hamas, they are making for Hamas, it's a good deal.
It's happy news. It saves those who are still alive. This is enough. We are tired. This man living in Gaza said.
President Trump posted on social media, quote, based on the statement just issued by Hamas, I believe they're ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly, end quote. Next Tuesday marks 2 years since the brutal October 7th attacks on Israel, which killed more than 1,000 and sparked the war. Israel's offensive has killed 66,000 Palestinians. Well, a full look at your forecast from Blaze when we come back. Somewhere, right, Blaze?
Somewhere. I know that there's that phrase, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's fall somewhere, just not here across central and southern Wisconsin and a lot of the Midwest and plains, as temperatures should be in the low 40s tonight. But we're going to hang out where we would normally end the day in terms of high temperatures, in those low to mid 60s. Underneath quiet conditions, though, as winds remain out of the south, they're going to remain breezy tonight and throughout the day on Sunday. Sunday is still going to be warm and breezy, and then that rain arrives as we look to end Sunday night. Stick with us throughout Monday, and that's going to usher in that cooler air as well. So the low pressure system that's also warming us up is going to begin to bring in that rain as we head into the evening and overnight hours Sunday into Monday. So until then, we're looking to remain quiet. There's the cold front sparking those showers and maybe a few thunderstorms on Monday. You may need that umbrella, and you can take the First Warned Weather app with you to track out those showers throughout the day. And then high pressure moves on in. That pushes out any remaining showers by Monday evening, leaving us with more sunshine for Tuesday and cooler temperatures. So those showers will move on in and out as we go throughout Monday. There may be some periods of dry time. Any thunderstorms aren't expected to be severe. And then that high pressure system, as I said, moves on in and kicks out any remaining showers later Monday evening into early Tuesday. in terms of rain, not super impressive. I wish that there was a little bit more blue on the map, but we're looking at about a quarter to maybe a half an inch at best. When low pressure systems get stretched out or when the center is much farther away from us, and given how dry we've been, a lot of that moisture is lost. So unfortunately, we're not looking at heavy rain, but we are looking at our first rain chance in quite some time, or at least our first measurable rain chance in quite some time. We cool down as we head into next week, especially Tuesday through Wednesday into Thursday, and then we're possibly back into those mid-70s by next weekend, and then another cool down. And this is going to be kind of the story here until we really settle into winter. But what we're not seeing is that big winter cool down, that big blast to remind us that we're in fall, getting closer to winter. We've got about an 80 to 90% chance of staying warmer than average from the 12th through October 18th. Now, the monarch butterflies are continuing their migration. Thank you, Tammy, for sending us this. They will arrive in Mexico around Halloween or the start of November, coinciding with Dia de los Muertos. And it has been kind of a myth that they are the returning spirits. So let's make sure that all those monarchs and the spirits get back safely. There is a look at your 10-day forecast. Quiet midweek next week before maybe some more rain as we head into the weekend.
Those monarchs are going to get to Mexico and be like, we never left.
I know it's going to be probably warm there too, but they've been sticking around. I've heard some people have seen them all the way up in like northern Wisconsin, which is a little bit concerning, but I think they'll start to move their way south.
There we go. Let's hope. All right, Blaze, thank you. And still ahead, Andrew back from MFAN with more Brewer coverage, plus highlights from Wisconsin football. Next on News 3 Now.
The Brewers and the Cubs' history is well documented. They've played each other 456 times over the years, but all of those meetings were in the regular season. Believe it or not, for the first time ever this evening, they played in the postseason, where the I-94 rivalry rose to a new level. And let me tell you one thing, AmFam was electric. The Brewers had the last week off, but there was no rust on the Brewers' bats. It was all gas, no breaks. 2 on, 2 out in the first. Brewers already wanting more, leading 3-1, and Bryce Perkins shoots a liner back up the middle, make it 4-1 Crew. But they weren't done in the first. They batted around Jackson Churio, who had already doubled in the frame, while he comes through with the bases juiced. Bring in 2 more, and if the roof was on here, it would have blown off by this point. Milwaukee takes a 6-1 lead after 1. And in the second, Jackson, he just wouldn't stop. The sophomore sensation with an infield single. He drives in another run. He was 3 for 3 on the day. And he did come out of the game with hamstring tightness. Told us afterwards that he's feeling much better. The Brewers looked better than just better. They were fantastic. They come out with a bang, taking game 1, 9-3.
We had those off days. We were ready to go. We were all talking about it days before, how excited we were and how great it was going to be. And, setting the tone is a big part of it.
They broke a franchise record for wins, and everybody talks about recently in the last how many years, since 18, we haven't won a playoff series. But to be there every year knocking on the door with, some of the limitations we have is a credit to them. And this new group, which was not that many returners and not that many additions, this new group really stepped up.
From Milwaukee to Michigan, where Wisconsin football came off their bye week needing a win. But to do that, they'd have to go into Ann Arbor and take down 20th ranked Michigan. And the Wolverines, they meant business, but early on it looked like the Badgers might just get this thing done. They looked as good or better their first drive than they have all year on offense. Marching down the field and scoring, Dylan Jones caps off a 12-play, 75-yard drive, spinning past a Wolverine, and it looked like all of Bucky's problems were fixed in their bye week. And while it did look much better overall, they couldn't solve it all in 1 week. Michigan responds with a score of their own as Justice Haynes takes it into the house. Wisconsin trailed by just 3 at the half, 10-7 the score. But in the second half, Michigan ran away with it. The Badgers get somewhat of a moral victory, but in the books, that doesn't mean a whole lot. It goes down as a loss for Wisconsin, who falls to 2-3 on the season and 0-3 in Big Ten play, as Wisconsin drops it at the Big House, 24-10. The final score. So Wisconsin drops theirs and the Brewers get the big win. Armand, the biggest news that we learned after the game, as I mentioned, is that Jackson Chourio told us he's going to be just fine to keep on playing. Pat Murphy said that would have been a devastating loss. And now we'll send it back to you guys from AmFam Field. Andrew Banstra for News 3 Sports.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much. And Blaze, final check of the forecast.
It's going to be a quiet night, 60s, and then we're back into the 80s and breezy for Sunday. Overnight Sunday into Monday, cooler as rain moves on in and we hang out in more seasonable temperatures and dry conditions as we head into the middle of next week.
All right, thank you so much for watching News 3 Now. Matlock is next on CBS. Remember, you can always watch us streaming on Channel 3000. Plus, we'll see you on News 3 Now at 10.